Of course, Wes Watson's defense attorney is going to talk about stand your ground and self-defense and talk about how the 7-foot giant went to the gym to fight with Wes and how, you know, he's got to make his money, right? He's got to put out some kind of an argument. The bond hearing that John Bravo put out, the judge says that the victim had a face fracture. 2 black eyes and a face fracture. And he probably had a lot more going on than that, but a face fracture. That's lawsuit. That's medical diagnosis. That is actual injury. That's a lawsuit coming. But that's for later. Of course, Wes Watson's lawyer is going to talk about stand your ground and self-defense. And this was just a fight, mutual combat. The reality of the matter is that now is when the pressure needs to be exerted most. We know who the judge is. We know who the prosecutor is. We know who the defense attorney is. We know the venue. I mean, we are free as media to, have an opinion. Because I've heard people say, oh, now it's in the courts. It is, yes. But the only people that can't look at the news or hear the news is the jury. There's nothing to stop us from talking about this as we have been doing. And if a judge or a prosecutor gets wind, oh, well, this person's a recidivist. This person is a career felon. This person's a shot caller, a gang leader. Oh, this person's making as much as $18 million in 1 year by selling life programs that basically are centered around glorifying prison culture and, doing burpees behind bars and, just violence and thuggery and just downright being a goon. Well, maybe this might be something to look at, when this guy says that he was in fear of an imminent battery, because that's what stand your ground would be based on, right? Self-defense. You're scared that you're going to be harmed. You're not looking for trouble. You're a victim. And as a victim, you're trying to, you don't have to get away from it. You don't have to run away. That's the whole point of stand your ground. But you have to, you've got to defend yourself, because, your safety is at risk. This guy tapped him. I mean, that's like, that's so serious. It justifies, 50 plus kicks to the head, or 50 plus punches to the head and 8 kicks to the head, and using, your friends to help you take them down. Because for the bond hearing, bond is not meant to be punitive. It's not supposed to be. It is a lot of times for indigent defendants who can't afford some of these massive bonds. And we don't have bail bondsmen here in Kentucky. Maybe they have them in Florida. I don't know, but that's a pretty nasty practice as well. The point is that if you're poor, then bond can most definitely be punitive because of the fact that you don't have 2 nickels to rub together. But for Wes, it's not going to be punitive because he makes $2 million a month supposedly, and he told that kid that interviews millionaires with his phone that he made $18 million in 1 year. So he's not going to be strapped for cash. He can pay the bond and get out. But the reality of the matter, though, is that you are not watching the video. You are not seeing the victim. You are not, talking to witnesses or looking at, all the stuff he's done on social media. You're just determining whether or not a sum of money can secure his future appearances in court. That's it. And that he won't reoffend and be a danger to the community. That's it. So it is not a trial by any means, just like Johnny said. It's not a trial. It's not a hearing in the sense of it being adversarial and evidence is being exchanged and people are being questioned. That's why the judge really didn't want to hear Wes say anything, and his lawyer told him to basically shut up. But Wes wanted to be heard because Wes is used to being in the driver's seat. At least that's the shtick, like he says, we don't deal with what ifs, I saw him say on a video. I'm actually watching some of his videos now just to get an idea of who Wes Watson, the social media influencer, is, because I don't follow that sort of thing, But you see, for an alpha male like him that doesn't believe in what ifs, doesn't believe in no's, gets out there every day and makes that money, he's been put in a very submissive position, very submissive. And also, the judge is a woman. Now, if you look this judge up, she actually went viral before because there was a defendant, a gentleman accused of a crime, and he was a high school mate of the judge. And the judge says to him, "You don't recognize me, do you? Aren't you?" And then the guy starts crying. He's like, "Oh my God," he's crying because he's a piece of shit probably that has committed a lot of crimes, and she's a judge. But they were best friends at one point in time in school. And he's just like, he can't believe that she remembers him. And he's just, it's beautiful. It's really, really beautiful. It's heartwarming. And so anyways, the point, I'm sorry I called the guy a piece of shit, but I'm just saying he was crying really hard as if he'd probably done some really messed up stuff in his life, because he probably wouldn't have cried like that if he had swiped a K-Chill sort of kratom thing. Now he was crying like he had done some crazy shit, like he had stolen a car maybe, robbed an old lady and I don't know. Do I have to give another one? I guess I don't know, like pistol whipped a senior citizen, whatever. The point, he didn't do any of that stuff, but he had gone the wrong path and the judge had gone the right path, and they were best friends, and basically it was just heartwarming, and it went viral. So that's that judge. She seems like she's on the ball, but again, the thing is that Wes has no power. He's not in the driver's seat. He's not in the passenger seat. The passenger can still stick their hand in there and change a gear, or go at the wheel like that. He's not in the passenger seat. If he was in a pickup truck, he would be in the center of the cab, basically. If he were in a sedan, he would be in the back seat. If he were in an SUV, he'd be back by the trunk. I mean, he's basically, I'm laughing at him internally, and I don't know if you can see that or not, but I'm having a hard time not laughing right now. But basically, he is not a factor. He is being driven around like Miss Daisy, and the judge is a woman. And she's going to tell him what time it is, and he's going to do what he's told, because if he doesn't, the sheriff can come in. That's another thing that's going to be very interesting to see, is what he says in the time he's out on bond waiting for his hearing dates. Because I could see him mouthing off and pissing off the judge or pissing off the state of Florida and his bond being revoked. That would be funny. Or if another incident takes place, like that CVS matter, or Walgreens, or Rite Aid, or Navarro's, whatever the hell it was, where it almost, that could have gone south, and that would have been a fight, if it is something like that in the future. Now everybody's going to try to beat up Wes Watson. You'll be like, oh, we're here for that one-on-one, you know what I mean? But then it probably won't happen, because he won't be able to have his friends there enough time. But listen, the state of Florida, unless they're completely derelict in their duties, are going to do a strong job of prosecuting Wes, and they're going to point to the fact that he's a guy that's been in level 4 and a shot caller, and they're going to talk about the video and all of his vast library of bullshit videos on YouTube, and just the whole philosophy that he's all about. You know what I mean? The way that he's made all this money, it's not because of his physique. He doesn't even compete. He's done it because of the fact that he has marketed himself, I thought there was more, as like this jailbird guy that does burpees and always eats his cornbread and never does anyone's laundry and is always in charge. Only now he's not in charge. He's riding in the trunk. So, anyways, thanks for watching. Peace, brothers and sisters too.